A bit chilly, but otherwise good morning. It's 8:05 and I am just in front of the old breakwater in Cove Bay, specifically Cove Harbour. Quite a formidable structure. I'm actually just waiting for the sun to come up, hopefully soon. I feel like it's just getting choppier and I better move soon, otherwise I'll get absolutely soaked. It's funny how peaceful it is for me just sitting here, but when you look at the waves, it's the opposite of peaceful. It's so rough and angry and dangerous. Yeah. So yeah, here I am, Cove Harbour, built around 1830, I can't remember exactly when, and for a short period of time it was one of the most important ports in the northeast of Scotland. I can't imagine that was very long, given you got Aberdeen Harbour just down the road and then Peterhead further along, but kind of cool to think that at one point it was more than just a hut and a couple of boats. But yeah, depending on how you do the walk, this is the start for me, or the end. And it runs, the Cove Coastal Route runs all the way from Cove Harbour to Torry Battery, and that's where I'm heading, back to Torry and back home. The entire route probably only takes around 2 or 3 hours depending on fitness. However, I was faffing about quite a lot, so it actually ended up taking me close to 5 hours. Too hard. Too difficult for me. Wonder what that looked like. I don't know, maybe I could, but I'm a bit too shy. I actually forgot how much I like it here. It's we used to always come here when we were sort of in school, and it's just like you can't come here and not climb up the structures itself and all the rocks and the kind of cliffs and things. It's a bit wet, a bit slippy, so definitely bring good shoes. But it's just, you can clamber and climb all over this. Cove Bay is a historic fishing village on the southeast edge of Aberdeen. Back in the day, it had a population of around 300 people, and since then it has become Cove, a growing suburb in Aberdeen with well over 8,000 folks now living there. In the mid-19th century, fishing was at its height, which over the years included cod, haddock, salmon, herring and shellfish, with construction finishing around 1878. For a brief time, the harbour was one of the most important herring ports on the east coast of Scotland. In 1881, the harbour suffered the East Coast fishing disaster, losing 11 out of its 21 men, on 3 out of 4 boats. And at the end of World War I, the harbours industry began to decline, and today not much remains of Cove Harbour's legacy. If you are in the area, however, I would always recommend that you pop into the restaurant at the Cove Bay Hotel. The harbour's obviously down there, the village is behind me. The path is not very well signposted, but this is it, and it follows the coast all the way around. I came out last weekend actually to film this video, and then I was about 10 minutes away from my front door, and I just kind of thought, why am I doing this? It's not even worthwhile video, so just go home. So I did go home. It was windy, I had all the same gear that I have with me now. I was just a bit overwhelmed, didn't really have any plan or anything like that, so I thought I'd give it another go today, and already I'm glad that I did. Just more for just getting out, getting a walk and just having a bit of fun. It's just nice to be by the sea, in my opinion anyway, for what that's worth. Over the dike. So yeah, there you go. If you follow this road up here, it takes you to Altins or Cove. I have come from this direction all the way back over in the distance somewhere there. So let's crack on. The weather is actually very good conditions for this. All this white foam, that's the North Sea. You'll also see that Cove is shrouded in this grey mist, or har as we call it here, and yeah, it's one of the downsides of living in Cove. You've got to be okay with har. I wish it was a bit drier, maybe a bit less treacherous. I wish I could go down, not into the water obviously. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. If it was a little bit drier, you can feel a little bit of moisture from the har in the air, and it makes the algae or the moss, whatever that green stuff is, really slippy. So even though my shoes are quite grippy, not grippy enough sadly, so no point risking it. Safety first. The path itself just winds round. That climbing frame, that's an optional extra. just an old farmhouse or something. Got no idea what this is. What the actual heck? I don't know how this is possible, but some kids have built a skate park in here. I was expecting to see some sort of vandalism or badness, I guess, but a skate park, who knew? Aberdeen sometimes gets a hard time from the folks who live here, but it's much the same as living anywhere. You know, if you've been there a while, you tend to get bored. It's a grey city, there's not that much to do, there's bigger places elsewhere, yada yada yada. But I mean, well, another thing is it's always cold, it's windy, it's wet. This is the 1st of December. Look at that, it's glorious sunshine. So yeah, making the most of this coastal walk. There's loads of them in Aberdeen like this side of the River Dee, and then if you go to the other side, out to Balmedy and up to Cruden Bay, there's an incredible coastline to explore. And then when you go inland, there's all sorts of forest trails and things as well. So we really are lucky in Aberdeen. And I think we just forget it sometimes. Look at the colour of those cliffs. Now that the sun's out, oof, there's also fishermen down there. One of the best feelings when walking is not having anywhere to be, just being able to take your time. And doing these videos helps that, because every time I'm filming something it slows me down a lot. But I'm also looking out for things to film, things to capture, and it makes me really focus on every aspect of the walk that I'm doing, and just helps me appreciate this with fresh eyes. The coastal path just, you know, is full of these sort of, I don't even know what to call them, but it just snakes kind of in and out of the coast. It's so rugged. Well, I was literally just filming that last clip. I found 10 quid in the bog. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. Oh, that's gonna get me lunch. If it's still open, at the Cove Bay Cafe or whatever it's called. God, you know what? Finding money will never not be fun. Maybe that's because I'm poor. All that yelling and screaming earlier. Forgot to hydrate. You can see it just in the distance. Wobbly arm. But that's the breakwater for the new Aberdeen Harbour. I've not actually seen it in person since it's been finished. So that'll be exciting. We've made it to the harbour. Doesn't really feel like I'm on a path anymore, but I'm trusting the process. A nice viewpoint down there. I wonder if that was here before the harbour was built. The Aberdeen Harbour expansion project used 9,000 precast concrete acropods. An acropod, which I'll show you in a second, are three-dimensional star-shaped blocks that create a protective structure to absorb wave energy. Every single one was manufactured on a carousel production system in a purpose-built precast facility on site. This graffitied thing is kind of cool. You can't really see it, but that whole like breakwater thing that I walked past ages ago, that's made up from about, well, I don't even know, thousands of these things, which is terrible in a way, but also cool. Torry Battery. That's where I'm going. If you follow this road, you'll end up in Torry. We'll leave that one for another day. I'm going to follow this all the way around the coast. Cheddar ploughmans. Probably can't see it because of the sun. Emergency food just in case I was a bit starving. And there's no way I'm getting to Greyhope Bay. It's so windy all of a sudden. Foghorn. That's me almost at Greyhope Bay Cafe in the Torry Battery. Surprisingly fun. I don't know if it's because it's December or whatever it is, but the weather today has been so strange. Maybe it's that cloud, but it's kind of been like a permanent kind of sunrise, sunset type situation. Maybe, like I say, just the time of year. I've had loads of fun today on this walk. Like I said earlier on, I kind of doubted that this walk would be worthwhile. So when I set off to do it last weekend, I ended up going back home feeling a little defeated. But here we go, we did it. It was definitely worthwhile, and 100%, if you're here in Aberdeen, you should do it. You should do it sometime. 1/4 mile. The old harbour, original harbour, and Aberdeen Beach. The Torry Battery is an artillery battery near Torry in Aberdeen, Scotland. During the First and Second World Wars, it was used to defend the city and was finally decommissioned in 1956. But this is the Torry Battery. That was the Cove Bay to, I don't know, Cove Harbour to the Torry Battery, the Cove Bay Coastal Route. And I would thoroughly recommend it. I'm a little bit knackered, to be honest. I still need to walk home, so I'll leave you guys here, but thanks for watching if you stayed this far, and I'll see you next time. And I also got this. Oh. I got this delicious looking lemon cake which I just dropped half of.